Hi, I'm Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is going to be looking at some anticipated releases for 2023. So beginning with fantasy, we have Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. This is going to coming out in April, and I haven't read any Fonda Lee yet. I have the Greenbone Saga on my to-be read list, but this sounds so good. It's an epic fantasy fable about the pursuit of obsession at all costs. The synopsis says, Esther's family was torn apart when a manticore killed her mother and baby brother, leaving her with nothing but her father's painful silence and a single overwhelming need to kill the monsters that took her family. Esther's path leads her to the king's royal muse, where the giant rocks of legend are flown to hunt manticores by their brave and dedicated rookers. Paired with a fledgling rock named Zara, Esther finds purpose and acclaim by devoting herself to a calling that demands absolute sacrifice and a creature that will never return her love. The terrifying partnership between woman and rock leads Esther not only on the Empire's most dangerous manticore hunt, but on a journey of perseverance and acceptance. This sounds really good. I've never read a book about a manticore. It's on my TBR for 2023. The second fantasy book on my radar is The Magician's Daughter by H.D. Parry, and this is meant to be coming out in March. I believe it was meant to come out last year, but it got delayed. And the synopsis says, it is 1912, and for the last 70 years, magic has all but disappeared from the world, yet magic is all Biddy has ever known. Orphaned in a shipwreck as a baby, Biddy grew up on High Brazil, a legendary island off the coast of Ireland, hidden by magic and glimpsed by rare travelers who return with stories of wild black rabbits and a lone magician in a castle. To Biddy, the island is her home, a place of ancient trees and sea, salt air and mysteries, and the magician Rowan is her guardian. She loves both, but as her 17th birthday approaches, she is stifled by her solitude and frustrated by Rowan's refusal to let her leave. He himself leaves almost every night, transforming into a raven and flying to the mainland, and never tells her where or why he goes. One night, Rowan fails to come home from his mysterious travels. When Biddy ventures into his nightmares to rescue him, she learns not only where he has been every night, but the terrible things that happened in the last days of magic that caused Rowan to flee to High Brazil. Rowan has powerful enemies who threaten the safety of the island. Biddy's determination to protect her home and her guardian take her away from the safety of her home to the poor houses of Whitechapel, a secret castle beneath London streets, the ruins of an ancient civilization, and finally to a desperate chance to restore lost magic. But the closer she comes to answers, the more she comes to question everything she has ever believed about Rowan, her origins, and the cost of bringing magic back into the world. This sounds so good. There's urban elements and there's magic, and it sounds brilliant. I'm liking the sound of this one. I've never read any H.G. Parry. I don't know anything about H.G. Parry, but I'm all in for this book. The third fantasy book on my list is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz, and this is going to be coming out in July. And this is set in a lush world inspired by the history and folklore of South America. So it's an epic fantasy of colonialism and country, ancient magic, and a young woman's quest for belonging. So when Raina arrives at Aguila Manor, her heart stolen from her chest, she's on the verge of death, until her estranged grandmother, a dark sorceress in the Don's employ, intervenes. Indebted to a woman she never knew and smitten with the upper caste daughter of the house, Celeste, Raina will do anything to earn and keep the family's favor. Even the bidding of the ancient god who speaks to her from the manor's foundations. To save the woman she loves, Raina will have to defy the gods themselves and become something she never could have imagined. I love the sound of the South American folklore. I love any books that kind of explore those ideas of colonialism and ancient magics. And this sounds great. The first sci-fi on my list is Meru by S.B. Divya, and this is coming out in February. And this is one woman and her pilot about to change the future of the species in an epic space opera about aspiration, compassion, and redemption. So for 5 centuries, human life has been restricted to Earth, while post-human descendants called alloys freely explore the galaxy. But when the Earth-like planet of Meru is discovered, 2 unlikely companions venture forth to test the habitability of this unoccupied new world and the future of human-alloy relations. For Jayanti, the adopted human child of alloy parents, it's an opportunity to rectify the ancient reputation of his species as avaricious and destructive, and to give humanity a new place in the universe. For Vaha, Jayanti's alloy pilot, is a daunting yet irresistible adventure to find success as an individual. As the journey challenges their resolve in unexpected ways, the 2 form a bond that only deepens with their time alone on Meru. But how can Jayanti succeed at freeing humanity from its past when she and Vaha have been set up to fail? Against all odds, hope is human too. Another one coming out in February is The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz. And this is described as a heartwarming and thought-provoking vision of the future for fans of Becky Chambers, Kim Stanley Robinson, and Martha Wells. And I love Becky Chambers. So I think I am going to love this book. And this is probably one of the top ones from my 8 anticipated releases. I'm probably going to get this one first. I'm really excited about this one. The synopsis says, Destry is a top network analyst of the Environmental Rescue Team, an ancient organization devoted to preventing ecosystem collapse. On the planet Saski, her mission is to terraform an Earth-like world with the help of her taciturn moose, Whistle. That's got me already. A moose as an animal companion. OMG. That's all I can say. OMG. But then she discovers a city that isn't supposed to exist, hidden inside a massive volcano. I like volcanoes, by the way. Torn between loyalty to the ERT and the truth of the planet's history, Destry makes a decision that echoes down the generations. Centuries later, Destry's protege, Misha, is building a planet-wide transit system when his worldview is turned upside down by Sulfur, a brilliant engineer from the volcano city. Together they uncover a dark secret about the real estate company that's buying up huge swathes of the planet. A secret that could destroy the lives of everyone who isn't Homo sapiens. Hope the moose is okay. Working with a team of robots, naked mole rats, and a very angry cyborg cow, they quietly sow seeds of subversion. But when they threaten with violent diaspora, Misha and Sulfur's very unusual child faces a stark choice. Deploy a planet-altering weapon or watch their people lose everything they've built on Saski. I want this. Seriously? The moose? The cow? Yeah, this is top of my list. Another sci-fi, this one coming out in May, is Bang Bang Bodhisattva by Aubrey Wood. And this is described as an edgy, queer, cyberpunk detective mystery by an exciting new trans voice from New Zealand. So that sounds unique, right? I'm looking forward to this one. So it's 2032 and we live in the worst cyberpunk future. Kira is giggling her ass off to keep the lights on, but her polycule social score is so dismal they're about to lose their crib. That's why she's out here chasing cheetahs with Angel Herrera, a Luddite PI who thinks this is the big sleep. I love the big sleep, by the way. So this sounds a bit crime noir. Sounds good. Then the latest job cuts too deep. Hired to locate Herrera's ex-best friend, who's also Kira's pro bono attorney, they find him murdered instead. Their only lead, a stick of Nug Chomper incense, just dropped at the scene. Next thing Kira knows, her new crush turns up missing. Sans a hand. The real one, not the cybernetic. And there's the familiar stink of sandalwood across the apartment. 2 crimes, 2 sticks of incense, Kira framed for both. She told Herrera to lose a number, but now the old man might be her only way out of this bullshit. A fast talker with a heart of gold, Bang Bang Bodhisattva is both an odd couple buddy comedy that never knows when to shut up and an exploration of finding yourself and your people in an ever-mutable world. That sounds so quirky. That is me written all over it. Another one coming out in May is Myriad by Joshua David Bellin. And this is described as a mind-bending, time-traveling sci-fi thriller. And the synopsis says, Agent Miriam Randall works for Lifetime, a private law enforcement agency that undertakes short-term time travel to erase crimes before they occur. Sounds good. Haunted by the memory of her twin brother's unsolved murder at the age of 6, Miriam thinks of herself as Myriad, an incarnation of the many lives she's lived in her journeys to rearrange the past. When a routine assignment goes wrong and Miriam commits a murder she was meant to avert, she is thrown into the midst of a conspiracy that reaches to the highest levels of Lifetime. Along with her partner Vax, Miriam flees into the past in an attempt to unravel the truth before Lifetime agents catch up with her. But then her brother's killer reappears, 20 years to the day since he first struck. And it's not true if the twin has survived. Not by a long shot. That sounds cool. It kind of sounds like a thriller as well. But, it sounds weird. And I think that's the theme with the anticipated releases I have for next year. They all sound a bit weird, don't they? Yeah, pretty much. Especially the sci-fi ones. And finally, I do have a romance. I know, this is not who I am, but there is one because I have enjoyed this author before. And this is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. And this is coming out in June. And this is described as rival physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans in this delightfully STEMinist rom-com. A lot of key words that appeal to me there. Physicists, academic, shenanigans, STEMinist. Like, seriously, this is me without even reading the synopsis. But let's look at the synopsis. So the many lives of theoretical physicist Elsie Hanaway have finally caught up with her. By day, she's an adjunct professor, toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics in the hopes of landing tenure. By other day, Elsie makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. Honestly, it's a pretty sweet gig until her carefully constructed Elsie-verse comes crashing down. Because Jack Smith, the annoyingly attractive and broody older brother of her favorite clients, turns out to be the cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere, all of them. And that same Jack, who now sits on the hiring committee at MIT, right between Elsie and her dream job. So Elsie's prepared for an all-out war of scholarly sabotage, but these long, penetrating looks, not having to be anything other than her true self when she's with him, we're falling into an experimentalist orbit, finally tempted to put her most guarded theories on love into practice. I love this. I have loved Ali Hazelwood's books. I've read The Love Hypothesis. I've read Love on the Brain. And I think it's just because I love the science setting. So there's no way I'm not going to pick up Love Theoretically. It's probably the only romance on my radar for next year, and maybe the only romance I purchase. But Love Theoretically is coming my way. And that's it for now. I'm sure there's going to be so many new releases that I'm going to be super hyped for. But at the moment, these are 8 that have really captured my attention, and I'm going to be really looking out for them. Thank you for watching. If you love my videos, please subscribe. It makes me super happy. And I'd love to hear your opinions of these, or if you have any other anticipated releases that you have that you think I might enjoy, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, take care.